This is the Environmental Protection Commission, regular meeting Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. First, we're looking at new business. First piece is EPC 21-2025, PL 25-124, 1 Timber Lane, G. Templin and K. Templin, to construct an in-ground pool drainage, construction access way, and other related features proximate to the wetlands. The property lies along the east side of Timber Lane, just north of Hollow Tree Ridge Road, and is identified as map number 3, lot number 40. The zone is R2, and is approximately 2.01 acres.
Mr. Chairman, the application has made its way to our agenda this evening for acceptance, starting the statutory time clock, and given the commissioner's opportunity to provide some preliminary comments to kind of sculpt the position of, or the direction of our request for additional information and how the application will be reviewed. The other purpose for being on for acceptance is to determine if a public hearing is necessary. This is a in-ground pool in the upland review areas that are substantially long. Primarily, it's the construction access that encroaches.
Okay. Bill, do you have anything?
I didn't really get a chance to look at it. So.
Okay.
No questions.
Just one. I know that the pool and the activity is not in the upland review area, but as you mentioned, the access getting there is. And normally we do ask, for some sort of, like a planting plan or some something to increase the conservation value of the property. I'm wondering if there's something we can do there.
Yep.
Right. My comments are you may want to look at that as an AJ approval. To just consider that, and because that would be a okay. Moving on to the next one is CPC 22-2025, PL 25-129, 769 Hollow Tree Ridge Road, T. Van Eslander and B. Van Eslander, to subdivide an existing 5.4006 acre property into 2 parcels of 2.3688 acres and 3.0319 acres, lot 2, and construct a new single-family home residence drive drainage, subsurface sewage disposal system, and other related features in an approximate to wetlands and watercourses. The property lies along the west side of Hollow Tree Ridge Road, approximately 675 feet south of Sherry Lane, and is identified as map number 3, lot number 59. The zone is R2, and it is approximately 5.4006 acres.
Mr. Chairman, the application has made its way to our agenda tonight for acceptance, starting the statutory time clock. Given the commission members, for those who have reviewed the plans or visited the property, opportunity to provide some guiding comments, but also if a public hearing is warranted to review the merits of the application, the subdivision and the application.
Okay. So I have 2 things for the commissioners. One is I'd like your comments, obviously, but should we have a public hearing on this one? And should we get an outside reviewer on the environmentals? Okay, so would you like to start?
So generally we do a public hearing when it involves constructing a new residence, though it's usually we're redeveloping a property as opposed to subdividing a property. So I don't think it would hurt to have a public hearing.
Okay. Peter?
Yeah, I did have some questions. So it was unclear to me, they talked about the septic system possibly being abandoned. It wasn't clear to me where the second septic, and I know we're not dealing here with a proposal to actually build a house, but I would like to know how it's being abandoned. Is it being removed? Is it being filled in with inert material? Where's the septic for the original house going to be located? And where's the thought process in terms of the second lot? Where's that septic going to be located? The way I read the narrative, it seemed to suggest it was going to be a shared septic, which I find to be problematic, but I doubt it, but that's how I read it. And it's how the word suggested it to me. So I would definitely nominate this for a public hearing, because I think there might be some public interest, particularly with respect to neighbors. I cannot say it'll have substantial potential impact on the environment because things are a little bit undefined, but I do think public hearings warranted. The other thing too is it looks like one of these lots are going to be a flag lot, or maybe not, maybe kind of almost a flag lot.
Yeah, almost.
But close to a flag lot. Yeah, I would put it in a flag lot. So I think that might be also of interest for neighbors as well, because usually when you have a flag lot, you may have lines of view and other issues that neighbors might suggest. So that's my points on that.
I agree. It implied, it looked like they were sharing a system. I would never go with that. But so that, and I agree with the flag lot issue. It will be, people should be aware whether they have a problem or not. A couple of minor things, the photos, and I didn't delve really heavily into this, but the photos showed lawn going right up to the pond. It would be nice on their application if they actually showed the lawn line where it is, so we can kind of study that in regards to the setbacks or the 50-foot zone.
Yeah, well, we're just accepting it now, and I think Rick can do that.
And then you're
So-
going to vote and have a determination about having a public hearing for the reason of public interest.
Yes, well, I think if you're, no.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so I think, we should do it. You want to vote for?
You do have to vote.
Okay.
Just one quick question, though, is that, I mean, not question, one answer. They are unique septic systems on both lots. They are kind of unusually configured lots to accommodate all the structures and features. And we are, as part of this application process, is looking at the subdivision and the development, the subsequent development of the property. We haven't seen many subdivisions in the last 4 years. I think the last one might have been on Half Mile Road, which was, I think it may have been your first, I think it was the first meeting that was there.
I think it was, yeah, our first meeting, yeah.
So, and as far as, there's a lot of information there to digest. A lot of it has to do with, there are encroachments within the 50-foot setback. They are reestablishing channels. There's also a pretty substantial planting plan and conservation-based kind of activities along the brook. If you've been to the site, pretty substantial, beautiful lot.
Gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Like 6 acres, but it's almost like public grounds
Yeah,
where
it's like
there is lawn there, but they are seeking to displace a lot of that and do conservation enhancement. So it's be weighing all those factors when it comes to the subdivision and how it's intended to be developed. And they're doing things like, stormwater mitigation for, the extra development, and it's going to have unique driveways to each of the lots, et cetera. So there's a lot to digest and a lot to review.
Okay, given that, would you make a motion to
Yes.
for public hearing?
Right, I make a motion to vote on holding a public hearing for EPC 2225, 769 Hollow Tree Ridge Road.
Second the motion for public hearing on 769 Hollow Tree Ridge Road for purposes of public interest.
All in favor? Thank you. Okay, moving on to old business. EPC 06 PL 25-31, 52 Blueberry Lane, S Stack and S Wasserstein Venezia to maintain a stone fireplace walls and patio constructed within close proximity to wetlands, watercourses, and special flood hazard areas. The property lies along the east side of Blueberry Lane, approximately 775 feet south of Oxbridge Lane, and is identified as map number 7, lot 41. The zone is R2, and is approximately 1.86 acres.
Mr. Chairman, we received a correspondence from the applicant requesting that the matter be withdrawn. At this time, no action is necessary. They are in the process of developing information necessary to satisfy the questions and concerns outlined by the commission and our peer reviewer for engineering matters. So just based on time constraints, they have to withdraw the application, but they intend to resubmit, I believe, in advance of the next meeting.
Oh, really? That
Yeah.
quickly?
Yeah.
So they didn't want to just do an extension, or?
No, they ran out, they already
They ran-
extended.
oh, right.
Ran out of
There,
time.
there, yeah. Okay, moving on, EPC 12-2025 PL 25-72, 49 Salisbury Road, Glowcon Studios LLC, to replace the septic tank, install air handlers, renovate lawn areas, remove vegetation, and conduct other related activities in and proximate to wetlands and watercourses. The property lies along the north side of Salisbury Road, approximately 740 feet west of Brookside Road, and is identified as map 01, lot is 105, the zone is R2, and it is approximately 1.00 acres.
Mr. Chairman, I'll just offer some brief comments on the application. The application was accepted, I believe, in May of this year. An extension was granted as they generated information in an attempt to address the issues and concerns outlined by staff and the commission members. The property is, especially, well, the application itself is for a number of items associated with this existing single-family dwelling. As an aside, the owners had secured a building permit to do a second-story addition on the property. They worked with the health department, secured a code-compliant area. The reason why they came to the EPC as part of that approval process with the health department, and I'll get into the minutia of the application, is to replace a septic tank. There are 3 septic areas on this property, which is kind of unusual. There's one along the road, which is the one that sustained damage to the existing tank. It was a 500-gallon tank, served reportedly only a bathroom and laundry room with a field associated with it. That lies along the road and is in proximate to wetlands. On the side of the property, there's also a septic system. It's kind of reflected right up against the edge of the watercourse in the immediate vicinity of the watercourse that's there.
How old are these things?
Excuse me?
How old are the septic systems?
I don't know, but to the rear of the property, there's another septic system that was a replacement system from several years ago. I believe that was done with a permit some number of years ago, but it's certainly more is newer than the other elements that are there. I'm sure the applicant can get into the details of that. But the application is before us. The health department has called out not just replacing the top of this 500-gallon tank, to replace the entire tank with a new 1,000-gallon tank. Also, as part of the application that has generated through this process, is they intend to, because, and I'll get into the description of the wetlands, is to do some grading of the property to provide some positive drainage and to eliminate pockets of standing water. They've also come up with landscaping improvements to stabilize the soil, displace lawn, and in an attempt to also improve the conservation values of the property. The wetland, again, mostly lawn in the front, ponds water, essentially in the lawn areas. Along the side, there's a stream, and there's some wetlands associated with that. And in the rear, it's wetlands to, again, the bend in this water course. The vegetation ranges from long grass to light woods, I would say light to moderate woods. The soils were designated by a soil scientist, and they're reflected on the plans. Property doesn't lie in a flood zone. So we talked about the septic systems, and we talked about the top dressing of the grades around the house in order to, it's a very limited amount of topsoil that is expected to be applied. They had done a sediment erosion control plan in an attempt to displace, to offset any potential water quality impacts. There's no new additions of impervious surface per se, just some minimal sidewalks and straighten out a patio, those kinds of things. Through the process was identified that there was a sump pump system that had been installed on the property in the basement, discharging directly to the water course. That was a new install. The current engineer has now moved to remove that pipe that discharges directly to the water course and come up with a little Cultec system that is going to mitigate the impacts of that installation. Also important to note is through this process, there are catch basins in the driveway, originally not depicted on the plans as to where they go. There was roof and other drainage that was either existing or installed or modified without all the proper permits, discharging to the wetlands and water courses. And also through the process identified that with the depiction of these drainage elements, that, what's the impact? The question is, what's the impact on these variety of septic systems that are situated out on the property? We made referrals to the health department. We made referrals to our consulting engineer. At 6 o'clock, I received comments saying that from Joe Canis, our engineering consultant, who has determined that additional information is required and requested. The applicant reports 1 tree of size will be affected by the project, and about 23,000 square feet of wetland and 315 linear feet of water course are either temporarily or permanently affected by the project. There is a planting plan. That's, again, we talked about the purpose of that, and that includes trees, shrubs, and ground covers. Well, take that back. True native shrubs and ground covers, primarily along the stream and wetland edge in the northern portions of the property. It also calls for no-mow zones along that same corridor, installation boulder demarcation features. They intend to remove non-native invasives by hand, removal of accumulated brush and debris. There's standard notes about, under the direction of the landscape designer, any substitutions have to be cleared through them and limited to true natives. And there's recommendations for applications that limit deer graze to non-synthetics and organic lawn care practices. Our review initially was conducted in May of 2025. We came up with a list of information. And again, that was generated by staff and commission members. And as I noted, that we just received some comments from the engineering consultant, who indicates that additional information is warranted for him to endorse the project. We made referral to the health department. We have not received comments back. But from staff's perspective, although they've made some progress, there's still some outstanding concerns having to do with these discharges, the drainage discharges to the water course, the impact, the potential of erosion on that water course. Should they be truncated back in order to, from back to the water course, your typical scenarios, we don't want point discharges into the wetlands and water courses. You come up with some kind of alternate scenario. There's drainage in the driveway. Functionality of that drainage needs to be given further attention. The fact that there's, is the catch basins have at least deep sumps and bell traps to help attenuate any kind of stormwater discharges. So it really is, and also to make it sure uniform depiction of what they're asking for in terms of things such as air conditioner condenser units they want to install, shown on the landscape plans, not reflected on the civil drawings. So I've kind of outlined those things. Main concern, it has to do with the drainage that was installed that wasn't shown on the original plans and its impact on the systems and the functionality of the septic systems. Again, we're still waiting for health department further comments from them. But I wanted to put this on the agenda to give the applicant the opportunity to demonstrate the changes that they made and allow them to have their arguments about moving forward. And then also any questions and concerns you may have that we have to address before a decision is rendered on the application. Applicants here, available to answer questions.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Can I ask one quick question, clarification? Did the health department pass the B100?
Yes.
Is the house occupied?
No.
Is the construction of the house completed?
Virtually nearly.
So it's just all outside stuff that we're talking about.
I'll defer to the applicant,
Right,
but substantially it appears that most of the house is complete.
And I'm sorry, and because you mentioned that the health department may need to opine on something, did they originally do a B100 for the site prior to construction and approve that?
Yes.
And did they inspect the existing septic? Because if someone's in the house, well, that's TBD on that, right? If someone's actually living in the house?
I don't believe there's anybody in the house that
Okay.
they're looking to finish the project and then place it up for sale.
But is the septic currently in working condition per the conditions of the town of Darien septic guidelines? Like, I guess what I'm saying is we may want them to have a new septic, but health department says the septic works, so they can continue to use it.
Well, I think
going
that's what
forward.
we're securing is based on the information that's now been provided with the drainage. Does there modifications have to be made to eliminate pipes that go directly through septic areas that are down gradient? What's the type of pipe that's there? Does it short circuit an existing, the ability of those systems to operate? The house has not been occupied for some number of months or more, So those are the questions that we asked the health department, but have not gotten, and I've met with them directly too, but I have not gotten a direct response as of yet.
Okay, but they haven't failed this. We can ask the applicant or the engineers about that, but to our knowledge, aside from maybe drainage issues, the septic is okay?
I don't know. That's why we're asking the health department.
Okay.
And I think we need to delve into the health department's decision because, first of all, it's the application is the sloppiest thing I've ever seen, and they passed it. Trying to read this whole thing, all this different stuff on here, and they've given approval on it initially. Now he's going back at it. I question the health department's ability to do this correctly.
I think the health department's they're out there, they inspect everything. I mean, I'm only speaking to my experience with
Yeah.
septic. Do you have septic at your house? You're one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, but we have new people. Maybe they need a little help.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, I don't know.
Oh, no, I agree. I think, no,
Jurisdiction, but the other stuff I'm interested
I mean,
in. So I just wanted to clarify
One of my
that.
biggest concerns is how can you have a leaching field in a wet area? I was back there today, and it's still spongy, and it hasn't rained in days. I mean, how do you get leaching out of where they want to have these?
You know, that's interesting because I had that same question many years
Okay.
ago.
Give me an answer, please.
No, well, I had the same question many years ago when I was first on the commission, and it was the Brookside, it was the cul-de-sac off of Brookside.
Apple Tree?
It was at Apple Tree, CCD's.
Where there's the
It was
bridge?
a monster of a home, it was enormous. And Doug DeVesta was the engineer, and the entire septic system, there's an existing septic system, which they had to keep because the house was so big. And all of Althea Lane,
Oh, yeah.
Althea
Okay.
Lane, and all of the new septic was abutted the brook. And Doug added fill on top of, it was ledge, or it was very
Yeah.
rocky.
Yeah, it's a
and
very
he
flexible
added-
thing,
And
yeah.
he added the.
Enough
So what
to
I'm
get
getting
leaching
is
out of it.
to get the leaching out of it. So all engineers, when they're designing these septic systems, is there was one on, there was another one like that. Rick and I talked about it because they actually did a pretty good job on Shady Acres, the new construction project on Shady Acres. They kept adding lifts and lifts of fill on the front yard because that's where the septic system lived. There was a new construction.
It is
job.
a very impressive wetlands back there, so let's not screw this one up. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. It's
Well, I
not
guess,
just a minor.
well, no, but what I would say is if the health department says the septic is performing, it might not be, and you know me, if they say it's okay, it's probably okay.
I think it's good. We're going back to just question it one more time with the health department, because, you know, it looks pretty
It
sloppy.
looks like
with all
it's
this
too,
stuff. If you saw
I agree
this-
with both. You know, I look at it and I go,
Yeah.
wow,
That's my point,
you know,
is-
I'm not an expert in this, but I look and I go.
It's a lot of
wow,
guessing.
I said, it's wet, it hasn't rained, you know.
Oh, it's been a dry summer.
You know, and so, actually, May was pretty good, but it's been incredibly dry, okay? And for it to be spongy means that the water table is very high there.
Well,
Okay,
right.
and you know it's not gonna go any lower after the drought that we've had. So, I mean, I'm with both. So that's gonna leach in, and that's gonna, you know, go south, go literally south through the country club of Darien, et cetera, so.
Yeah.
'Cause that's where it
Okay.
leaches. Right?
Well, we'll see what happens.
All right.
Anyway, we'll see what the health director
Yeah,
says.
yeah.
Sorry.
Not a problem.
And with that, hold that. We're very interested in your words, Kate.
No. Good evening. For the record, Kate Throckmorton, licensed landscape architect with Environmental Land Solutions. I'm going to give you a brief introduction, go over my planting plan, and then turn it over to John, the engineer, from Brian Mueller Associates. ELS initially got involved with this house. It was initially, as has been described in the paperwork that's going along with this, started as an interior renovation without any official outdoor work. And during, so let me just give you some orientation. Salisbury Road is here, house. The wetland line, let's start with the brook. The brook comes around essentially like this, kind of surrounds the area. It sounds like most of you have been to the site. The wetlands covers roughly half of the site. It's a 1 acre site. So the wetland line comes up almost to the back of the house, comes around, goes along the water course, and then comes into the front yard. So it's a fairly level area, and the house itself sits kind of on just a small rise on the whole lot as a whole. So during the interior renovations, as Rick had said, there was some damage to an existing septic tank here, and that warranted our journey into the wetlands department. And so as part of this, I think my plan had started to cover some of the site elements that were included in the initial application, which included the replacement of the tank, the air handle replacement up here, and some planting along the backyard. That was in May, or actually before that, March. During our preliminary review, Rick asked that the planting be expanded, and that's what we did. My report notes that our initial planting in the back was roughly 10 feet wide and comprised of about 1,800 square feet. That's now doubled, so it's close to a regain of almost 3,000 square feet of naturalized area and the removal of lawn. There was also some additional planting in the front in a low spot in the yard that does pond water and did not support lawn grass. So during this ongoing review, it was revealed that there was some work done to the roof leaders, and that kind of snowballed into some additional questions. So consequently, my plan was updated, and then an engineer got involved to deal with the drainage on the site. And so I'm gonna hand it over to John, and he can go into these other items.
Hi. So yeah, the drainage on this.
For the record?
Oh yeah, my name John Guihin, Guihen, with Weller Engineering, representing Brian, the engineer on this project. So yeah, there existed the catch basins in the road, or along the driveway, and the roof leaders discharging into the wetlands. The pipes were replaced at some point or another because they were broken and not leaking out. So obviously none of it is ideal in any situation, but that's how it exists. We proposed to put a sump pump in to stop the sump pump from directly overflowing. A sump pump, Coltec, to stop the sump pump from directly flowing to the water course.
How often does the sump pump work?
I don't have that information for you, sorry.
Oh, no, okay, well,
Yeah.
we can go through this. How deep is the basement?
It's a crawl space.
Oh, it's a crawl space?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know exactly how deep it is, but it's a crawl space.
No, okay, it's a crawl space. No, I just wanted to find out.
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
if the thing's pumping 24/7 or something like that. So.
Yeah, obviously. As for the roof leaders discharging into the wetlands, an update, this isn't on our plan, but I had discussed with Brian alternatives to present to you guys. We feel comfortable for the front yard discharging to a level spreader that will seep over lawn instead of directly flowing to the water course, eliminate some scour problems and some erosion problems. As for the rear yard, we could discharge at grade to splash pads, but that might cause other problems in terms of water flowing over the septic. But I know the existing has pipes over top the septic, but and as for the septic, it works. It's been working for 50 years. I don't know what the new ones in the backyard, but they all work. I don't know how long the new ones have been for. So it's our opinion that we should not mess with them too much, and as long as they're working, limit the impact we have by just using what's out there. It's not ideal.
Have you tested the water Have you tested the water? Because I'm sure there are tests that you can do to make sure the septic system is working from the surrounding water. And
we have not had the water tested, as far as I know.
Because that would tell me it's working.
It's working.
Because that for me personally is a concern. That 50 years ago the regulations, way before your time, but
Yeah.
it was the regulations were quite different and much more lenient than they are now, and so and they've gotten tougher for a reason. Okay?
I see what you mean. I don't know, they haven't tested the water out there as far as I know. I know that Brian spoke with Joe Williams at Health, and he seemed all right with it. So I know you're waiting to hear back from him, but that's all I've got in terms of the approval we've gotten. The B100 area for a new septic system is also approved, but again, it requires work done in the wetlands, so.
Can we get the testing results for the effluent?
Yeah,
That'd be good to have.
I mean.
Okay, that's a follow-up, okay.
It's a follow-up with the septic installer and the septic designer, but yeah, I mean,
So what are you gonna do with the front? Okay, you said, yeah, you can do it at grade, but it flows over the septic system. That doesn't sound like a solution. No? Well, it doesn't, you know.
it just, you
To
can either
the
leave it-
uninitiated, doesn't sound like a
Yeah, I
solution.
mean, there's an existing plan existing conditions in which this operates and functions. You can make it better, but it's a built house on a built lot, so there's only so much you can do. I mean, this is an imperfect lot, and
I'm sorry, my kids are tough on me today, I'm moving a little slow.
I thought they had school.
I had,
They were tough.
I had a parent-teacher conference today too, and it's our second day of school, yeah. So, how many septic systems are in operation currently?
there's 2 tanks, 3 systems, 3 fields.
3 fields, okay. And can you just point on the map where the fields are?
If you could, I hate.
Bring the map out.
Bring the map out a bit.
Yeah.
There we go, yeah.
That's good.
So, tank here, tank here. There's a leaching field here, a leaching field here, and an unmarked leaching field here. That's one of the comments from Joe, just to figure out where this is. But it's a job for them.
And two of those are in,
They're all in it.
they're all in wetlands.
Yes.
And one's across the brook, the water course. Or is it on this side of the water course?
It's like half in, half out. It's you can't totally see it on this map, but it's like here. I don't know if anyone has Ryan's
Do you know
plan.
the vintage, did you know the vintage by year of the, no, okay,
No.
all right, so this is what we're trying to do, like,
Yeah.
real quick, top down. So you've got 2 tanks, they're operational.
Yes, one of them is being replaced due to damage.
All right, you're pulling the concrete galley out, and you're gonna put a new one in.
Mhm.
And was the other one cleaned, or the filters checked?
Now you're pulling the
Yes.
tank out,
Yes.
No, but there's 2 tanks, right?
but there's 2 tanks, but in the front, they are replacing the septic tank.
Right, so
500
we-
with 1,000.
So it'll be a brand new tank, but
Tank.
I'm talking about the other one, there's 2
Yes.
tanks, right?
Mhm.
And how is that tank, like, you don't know?
So the other one cleaned?
Yes,
Good?
it was pumped. Yes, Paladino, Paladino. is a
Excuse me, you're gonna have to come up and,
company They serviced and.
No, time out. Well, if you're gonna speak, I would ask you to come up here for the record, state your name and address, and you can make your comment. People who are listening to this on TV cannot hear you.
Sorry.
Hi, Gloria Jimenez. I'm partner in the project with Glow Con. So Paladino was in charge of inspecting and pumping the septic. He inspected both before the front tank was crushed by a car. And he reported that they both were working and they were both clean at that time.
Okay.
So we started this project over a year ago. So he did it then, and the house has been unoccupied.
Okay, so
For a year.
So you currently have, engineer or applicant, you currently have a brand-new tank in the ground?
No,
Okay, that's unfinished, not even done yet?
They're proposing to replace the 500 that's been damaged in the front along Salisbury Road
Right,
with a new 1,000
gotcha.
tied to whatever it is, probably a field.
But that's
in
work in the
wetlands.
wetland. That's-
No, I understand, no, I'm trying to like peel the layers of the onion here, I'm sorry. So, okay, the other tank, the septic sewage pump cleaner contractor is who we're talking about. I don't know Palomino, but that's who we're talking about. The guy that rolls up with the truck and he sucks the tank, right?
Yes.
So he sucked the tank, cleaned the filters, and he represented to the health department that that was a functioning
Yes.
tank. And that the septic, did he represent to the health department that the leaching fields were performing?
Yes, he represented that it was all in function.
Okay,
He
how
did-
did he do that? If it hadn't been used for a long time, and he pumped it, he cleaned the filters, how does he know that the septic's working?
Well, I don't know really in which order he did it, but we have a report that
Okay.
That
and
he
that-
inspected.
Okay, and that was to the satisfaction of the health department?
yes.
Okay,
they
so you
approved.
don't need to do anything with that septic system right now?
Not with that one, we need to replace
Okay.
the broken
Okay, so,
tank.
where's the compass direction on this map? Where's north?
This is north.
Okay,
As
so
far as
the
I
east,
can.
so the east tank and leaching field are operational.
East and,
Whoa, we haven't gotten there yet, okay.
it's one, yeah, okay.
It's one, they're all interconnected. It snakes, it boomerangs all the way around to the
This key
backyard.
box has 2 outlets.
Okay.
So
So
this
he
is-
represents that whole thing works.
Yes. And the front one works, according to the,
Well, let's not get that far because you just said that the tank is broken, so.
just the top.
It's just the top?
But yeah, we're replacing the whole thing because the top broke. Car
So
ran
the
over
lid,
it.
the car just ran over the lid, cracked the lid. Why wouldn't you just put a new lid down? They don't make a casting that fits the old tank?
Perfect. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the requirements of the health department to approve the septic. So that's what they asked. They asked us to replace the full tank.
Rick?
There's a 500-gallon tank in the front.
Yeah,
They typically don't allow 500-gallon tanks
it's contagious.
along Salisbury Road. So they said you have to have a minimum of 1,000, I think it's 1,000 or 1,250 in the front as well.
Okay, you break it, you buy a 1,000-gallon tank.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. And then part 2 is you have, was Mueller Engineering involved in, Mueller Engineering is coming in after the fact.
Yes, we came in after the majority of it recently to address the concerns with pipes running through wetlands. Or
Well,
courses.
pipes is a very broad term, so you got.
Drainage pipes.
You got 2 different.
Drainage pipes running. through.
We got 2 different pipes, right? You have the sump pump pipes.
Yes, sump pump pipes and
And you have the leader drains.
leader drains and catch basin
Okay.
outlets.
Okay, so let's just talk about the sump pump.
Yes.
What was, just succinctly, what's the recommendation to satisfy EPC's concern of the sump pumps?
We removed the discharge that went directly to the water course, put it to a sump pump Holtec that will infiltrate into the ground
Okay,
or overtop via an orifice, not directly into the water course and wetland.
okay.
And it's very close to the wetland because this whole property is very close to wetland, but
Oh, and then with the other asterisk is you also had to complete the B100, so there's a whole nother site where you can fit a whole new system. If
yes,
one-
there's a approved plan with the health department for
Okay.
the 100 area in the rear.
All right, and now you got the leaders.
Leaders.
All right, and basically what you're saying is I'm gonna take the leaders, I'm gonna level spread them on the lawn.
Yes, we showed them on our plan the way that they were probably done unpermitted, which is just coming across the front of the house into about here, just outletting into there.
Okay.
We
And
can
on
leave
our,
it how they are because they work, or we
okay,
can,
time out. Okay, so now the commission's concern, if I'm understanding this, is you're taking the roof and you're dumping it on top of the leaching fields. Is that what we're saying? Okay. Now, Brian did this with a recent project, help me out, tiny parcel of land,
Yeah,
right? And Doug, and,
begins with an R.
Relihan.
Relihan.
yes, and Wayne Devanzo's done this. This is like kind of like his copy mark, his trademark. Copyright, trademark. Told you, it's been a long day. Could the leader drains just come off the house, go into, you guys do the calculation, go into some Coltex to store the water, and then if it needs to level spread out over the lawn, it can do that after?
we can.
That's not expensive, it's pretty easy to do, and it's totally easy to, it's
So,
easy to manage and
yes.
observe and all those things.
My concern would be limited space on this property. If we could find space to do it, it would work. And it would provide additional, it would help the wetlands in terms of water storage and all that. One comment from Joe Canis was to move, instead of replacing this tank in the same location, was to move it into this spot, which would put a septic tank, we need to be 25 feet away from that. So that would put us like, this is kind of the only spot we have good area where nothing's really around it, which is where we're proposing the sump pump. And the soils have high groundwater.
Yeah, how's the call flex gonna work in that high
So-
groundwater area?
There's not a ton of space in terms of adding drainage to this.
You know what I'm just trying to get to?
Yeah.
We're gonna have a table with 3 legs underneath
We just gotta
it.
lift the whole thing up higher.
Well, the good news is they're not like scraping the whole house and saying, you know, let's put 12,000 square feet to work on a.
That's
on
true.
a completely
Isn't there also
saturated
issues
lot.
though?
That's
The wells in the front yard.
For the
The well is
moment.
also in the front yard.
So you have setbacks from the well.
So
to the
this is
system.
well water? You're just
Yeah, yeah.
well driven?
Well, this is your puzzle piece to put together. I guess from EPC, just speaking out loud, whatever the health department says is kind of germane because you can put the septic system. This was like septic 101 4 years ago for
But they're gonna have
me.
to add a lot of fill.
Well,
Yeah.
no, they don't, I mean, you might think they do, but they don't. They can add like 6 inches and say it works, but that's up to the health department to determine if that's adequate. But it sounds like the system is working, so are you proposing to add fill on top of the existing system?
No.
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 I don't propose to touch anything.
So they're
besides
not,
the
they're not
front of the
looking
house.
to go play in the wetlands. They're only asking permission to replace the broken
Yeah.
Coltech. And I would just say that's kind of a hardship, right? That's like, you don't want to do that, right?
No, I mean, we just, I want to,
A new cement cover.
lid on it
we want to do what we need to do to
Right?
make
Who
this
drove,
work.
who drove over the
Honestly.
Coltech?
But it's considered
Is it your
non-compliant.
No, well, yeah, I was one of the partners. The one that's not here.
Look, I'm highly sympathetic to this, but we still have to be aware of the wetlands.
Yeah, of
And I'm also concerned about the well being so close here too. Because if you have bacteria leaching, you know, into the water, it's eventually gonna get to the well.
Well, the well is in the front of the house, very close to the front of the house.
Okay.
And it's not near the.
But if we
septic.
move that tank up, away from,
I mean,
into
I'm not,
that, then we get closer to the well.
I'm not
well.
expert, but maybe it's better to leave it where.
So the comment from Canis was, can we move it? If the answer is no, then the answer is
No,
no.
Well,
you're
this is-
too close to the well. I mean, I'll let Joe answer, but it seems to me you're too close to the well. And then
Yeah,
you get into bacteria and that's it.
He
So,
handed me these comments when I sat down here, so I just,
Yeah.
I haven't
So I
actually.
got them.
Yeah, I'm not letting you, just,
What was
Isn't it- but-
why did he recommend moving?
just to get out of the wetland.
Just, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But then closer to the well.
Closer to the wall, closer to the house.
Yeah.
Closer to every other thing in this property.
I mean,
Buyer
I-
beware.
That's a tough property.
I think we really have to be sure that the septics are operating.
So that's a
correctly.
question for
Yes.
health,
Yes.
which,
Well, not health, but it's a question for, not the guy who, you know, pumps out the tank, but for someone to.
no, I'm a health department. Yeah.
It's a health.
A
it's
serious
health issue.
engineer should look at this and
Yes.
submit it.
But no, this is why we pay the big bucks to the town of Darien Health Department. They're responsible for passing or failing the septic. So my question is, as you were indicating earlier, you said that, is it Mindy? Cindy? Who's in the health
Mindy.
department? Mindy.
Joe Vaughn.
Joe Vaughn, okay. So to your knowledge, has he approved the operations of the septic?
Yes.
To your knowledge, is there has he signed off on the B100
Yes.
and he signed off on the existing, what's that form? Like, the existing system works? Is that just a permit, like a building
It's a
permit?
non-compliant exception request, non-compliant. That's what this thing came from.
Right, because it's old. It's not compliant based on today's
I think
standards.
we're straying a little bit.
All right,
So was there a reserve that was tested for, and the health department endorsed it with conditions to replace the tank? Yes. Were they aware of, one of the things, new information that shows these drain lines that either were existing or modified or new that crisscross the property and do things like cut across the septic system on the right-hand side. So
Oh, no, I get what you're saying. Are you saying leader drains or the
Yes.
sump pump? Okay.
Both.
No, right. That's why I'm trying to say, okay, let's just talk about septic first. It sounds like clear and simple to me, is the Darien Health Department is okay with the existing septic. The only reason why you're talking to us about the septic is that you have to replace the broken tank located in the wetlands, and you wouldn't be doing it unless someone drove their car over it and broke it. And if you could have just put a cast iron lid on it, a new one, you would have done that, but you can't, so you gotta put the bigger tank in, which would be better and an improvement to the system, right? Okay, I'm good with that. I'm sorry,
But what's missing is, there's subsurface drainage that crisscrosses this property and affects the septic system. I made a referral to them, which have not received comments back. Is that okay? Is it short-circuiting the system? Is it going to, over time, what kind of pipe did they use? Is it tight pipe? Is it not? If it separates, do you cause, a more intense failure? So that's what we're waiting for.
All right, you wanted to
Yes.
speak about it, please?
So the pipes that come from the sump pump, right? Those were the ones, and we're going to take the blame for that one because they were overground, and we said, let's cover them with soil, right? So it's not that they're like super underground and they're not really close to the septic because the contractor asked the septic guy, and so they're not going over the septic and they're not going deep. So that's what Brian is proposing to readdress and send into a Caltex in the front, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that was a mess up, and that was close to the septic, and it's going to be addressed with this thing that they're proposing. The other pipe that goes across the property, that was existing. So a piece of the pipe was replaced because it was broken, but the pipe was existing, and you have the drawings of it. It was existing. The leaders in the back that go to the brook, those were existing. So the only thing would replace the gutters, and it looks like a new patch, but the pipe, you can see that the soil is not even disturbed. There's no way we could have drenched that without being noticeable. That was existing. So really we need to redirect that drainage from the sump pump to what they're proposing, that Caltex in the front. We need permission to replace that tank. That's what the health department suggested to really approve this. And all the rest is not really near the septic, and it was existing. So we just need permission to keep working with the plantings, with these things that are proposed, and we need to check with the health department. Obviously, they need to reply to whatever concerns are there left.
Rick, did they increase the roof area of the home?
No.
It's just a
The
rehab?
footprint, no, it did
Okay,
not change.
all right. So going back to fixing so it sounds like you need to remove the sump pump that while I was here, the general contractor said,
Yeah.
while I'm here, let me put the pipe in. So that pipe, are you saying that pipe
The
needs
pipe
to
that
go?
goes
That's
out of
crossing
house
over the
into
leach field?
wetlands from the sump pump.
That's out of here.
Well, yeah, it's gonna go into some pump holder. The sump pump holder.
Okay. Now, for the leader drains,
Leader drains.
you think you got some real estate to, I know your soil.
If you guys want them out of going directly into the wetlands, especially for the front property, we believe we can put them into a level spreader. For the rear property, we believe it wouldn't be ideal. I think that it would be better, we feel it would be better to keep them discharging, but we could do splash pads at grade.
So the water's just gonna come off the roof in the leader drain and just wash out onto the lawn?
Yes.
And why would it be bad to put it into the Coltec, like a couple bathtubs?
So there's no space.
Because you have no space?
Yeah.
Right, okay. And are the leader drains currently, because you haven't changed the roof, you haven't changed the footprint of the house, the only reason why you're here is because of the broken septic in the front yard, is the existing condition of the house, leader drains to splash pads out on the lawn?
No. The existing condition is the leader drains
Into
into the pipes that go to
Into the
wetlands.
ground, okay. And you're saying that that's less intrusive is to splash pad them out onto the lawn?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was existing.
Well, no, your engineer just told me that
It's,
the.
it's existing as the conditions that we came upon the house. Those pipes were always there.
The only
Before
one that they
construction.
added was the sump pump.
Right,
They, yeah, they've been there.
okay. Is your square footage, you were just pointing to the southeast corner of the home where it looks like there's a big open area, and the leaching field is 25 feet away from that. No, move your finger to like the front right corner of the house. Yep, and then come down to that lawn area. That, no, like yes, right.
That's what some Coltech is.
That's where yeah, okay. Okay, so as the engineer, has Joe Canis or you, the engineer, made a representation that it's okay without a Coltech? Like the value, the water that's coming off of a hot roof, and is it just level spreading right into the well?
The level spreader will make it, or is it a way to make it so it's not coming off a hot roof onto the ground? So it goes, instead of going and being retained as long as it would be in a Coltech, it goes into the stone bed, leaches into the stone bed of the level spreader before it's reaching daylight, so it has a chance to cool from coming off the hot roof.
Sorry
sump pump or the
guys.
roof leaders?
No, we're talking about the roof leaders.
Okay.
For the sump pump, do you absolutely need the sump pump? Because you're
Yes.
making this, you're prioritizing the sump pump over the leader drain. So if it was me, I just want to be clear for everybody, if it was me, I would say, okay, I want to store my roof water into the Coltech and let it overflow and spread out over the lawn, so it's cool, right? And it's detained, well, retained, what is it, retarded. Why is it that the sump pump Coltech is taking priority? Is it a wet basement?
Yeah, it's a wet crawl space.
Yes.
Is it a wet crawl space because the leader drains haven't been working?
No. So
It's
It's a high
Groundwater is-
It's a high
Groundwater
water. I
has
was
to be-
getting there, it's a high water
It's a
table.
wet crawl
It's a high
space.
water table, yeah. So it is 724.
Well, this is my last thing, is what I would say is I'm okay with why they're here, because they're not here by choice. I don't
Nobody.
think I would say to any neighbor, I don't like your septic system, go tear it all up and put in new septic systems on a,
We're here by choice.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I would say do the best you can with the roof leaders and the sump pump.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do at this point. It's just
When was this home built?
the sum,
The
The
home?
the home.
1950 something.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Bill, do you have anything? Michael? Peter?
No.
Yes, I do have a couple things. You're going to remove the pipe and for the sump pump and put it into a Coltech, and it said install the Coltech system. I think I know the answer to this now, which can provide infiltration during the dry season. I guess I now knew the answer. It's because it's so wet, and during the wet season, it's just going to kind of
Yep.
pool there. Okay. There was mention of removing the bamboo along the driveway, but I didn't see any mention of removing other invasives on the property, and I did see quite a few. Would we be removing those as well, like euonymus, winged euonymus, wineberry,
Sure.
things like that?
Well, those are further into the woods, and I guess the question is, when do you stop? Because
The
they're all through the
perimeter, I
woods.
would,
So I
yeah.
think what the plan has targeted is just the planting area,
Mhm.
and so that those are maintained and managed so that those new plants will flourish.
Okay, so but anything along the perimeter, you would,
Well, anything that's in the planting area, I think the existing lawn goes up to the brook. We're not doing anything on the other side of the brook. And
on the other side, right, of course, but so the southeast, the west side of the brook, you're not doing anything either, correct? You're only doing
Over here.
something up there. No, yeah, on the south, like see down,
Down
yes,
here?
you're not doing, no, on the other side of the brook, on the west side of the brook, you're not doing anything there either, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, but if there were invasives there, would those be removed?
Well, it's not currently proposed. I think that we are doing a substantial amount of improvement back here. Taking out invasives doesn't really gain anything unless you're going to have a long-term management plan and additional planting.
Yeah.
So I guess this effort is to the back of the house where it is the wettest.
Okay, and on your planting plan, there was like a hatched area, and there in the legend, it didn't really show what that was, but was that just to show the increase from 10 to 20 feet of the wetland buffer?
I can clarify that. Yes and no. The hatched area is the no-mow zone, which was just going to be allowing the existing herbaceous material to come up. And essentially, that should really extend to the back. I mean, the whole area is going to be.
And that in that area, the invasives will be kept under control, removed and kept under control. Okay. In the front yard area where there's the ponding, there's going to be some topsoil put there, and then some plantings, the pussy willows, I think.
So these pussy willows, there's not going to be any soil added where the pussy willows are.
Okay, but that is where the water ponds?
Correct.
Okay, all right. And the idea is that hopefully that those thrive in that kind of environment. And
Exactly, and the lawn will naturally dissipate, and the pussy willows will come in when you establish vegetation on them.
And I saw on the planting plan also that you recommended organic land care to whoever purchases this home or the homeowner. But I would say that I think that we should require it because it's an extremely wet property, and there's going to be, since nothing, especially nothing's going to be put on the west side of the water course, that length of it, it's just going to flow into the water course. So that would be my comment about that. And that's all I have.
All right, given that we have conversations with the health director pending, correct? Correct. Obviously, Joe Connis, I didn't, you guys may have gotten it, I haven't gotten it. And I haven't received, I'd like to read Joe Connis's comments. Okay, and I'm sure the rest of you guys would also. I'd like to hold this open, okay, till we get that, and I don't know if it's next month or something. Rick, what do you suggest?
Well, I think there's outstanding issues.
Yeah.
So I think the issue with the new information about crisscrossing the property to ensure that whatever the status is of the septic systems, that we're not diminishing them further by crossing them, or going down gradient of them and intercepting effluent, et cetera. Working with the health department to come up with what's their comments, and Joe Canis has brought up the same thing in his letter. Some of that, the functionality of the proposed Coldex system for the sump pumps. He's also talked about the functionality of the catch basins in the driveway. Demonstrate that they are functional. Demonstrate that they have. And Brian has brought this up. Sumps and bells. I think it's important that to the extent that's feasible, regardless if they were existing, but they were replaced. So they should have been cognizant of rerouting things around the septic system and not placing them in the water course and not having another point discharge. Basic environmental elements when you review plans is get rid of your point discharges and a potential erosion hazard. So is the commission wants them to look further about truncating or abandoning some of these or all of them to the extent feasible? What's the alternative? Can they drop them to the ground?
That's on you, right?
I think that's on them. What
well, that's on the engineer to come up with a solution.
What's reasonably feasible?
The catch basins in the driveway those pipes were relayed. That's part of the issue of the danger of why we got here is the contractor went ahead and replaced broken pipes through the water course with gasketed pipe that still discharges to the wetlands, but it's working pipe. And those catch basins catch the water from the neighboring property that flood out this property without them, so.
I don't want to tell you to abandon them, just
Yeah.
make sure that they're functional and they have water quality controls. The other element here is, at least I observed, a lot of ponding in the vicinity of that septic system in the front yard. A lot of that water comes from the street, goes across the front of the driveway, doesn't have a real lip in it, there's been utilities installed through there. One of the things we originally asked for is, should there be some kind of modifications to the front of the driveway that keeps the water in the street, that reduces what goes onto that existing septic system? So those things have yet to be addressed. I would say have not been addressed, have yet to be addressed, because Brian and company are fairly recently introduced to this site. So I think,
Excuse me, you were going to say something?
Yes, so about the driveway, yes, we have plans of getting like a
Curbing?
Belgian block curb so that the water flows into the catch and not into the land.
Are you putting a new driveway in on the property?
Yes, we have plans to put a new driveway. We are just waiting for permission to do the things that we can do until other things are clarified.
So is that part of your
that should be
scope
part of the
work?
plan now.
Yeah, that should be part of the plan because that addresses why that's right there.
Right.
That addresses the ponding, and I think I mean, I can speak for myself, I would endorse that. So, to put it in the catch basin.
So
But
Mueller Engineering
add
needs to
that to the
do
plan.
a full engineering site plan on this project?
We have it, I don't know why it's not.
Well, you just said, you just.
We have the site plan that shows the sump pump, and the only things that were proposed being built are the second floor addition, and that's it, so no increase in area, no new areas.
No, but you just said
Yeah.
that you're putting a new driveway and you got the catch basins and we need to put the Belgian block curb in.
There are, so the driveway didn't seem to be, wasn't part of our scope.
We didn't think it was an issue, like to put into, just to repave the driveway. And we had talked about putting that, but if it needs to
And
go
it
into
is.
the plan. Yeah.
Excuse me,
For the
please,
record,
yeah, for the
Laura
record,
Walker.
your name is?
Laura Wamon, another owner of the house.
She didn't drive on top of the.
She's not the person.
There is a full
There
site
is a-
development
There is a site
plan.
development plan.
And
Oh, there is.
in that site
That-
development plan, the new driveway is proposed.
Oh.
He explains how the two catch basins for the water, there's two drainages in the existing that he's proposing to keep and drill, so it's bigger and it has pebbles, so it's
It's all there.
it's all there. It has a lot of information. I read it 10 times.
That's not there. You know, the driveway regrading, the Belgian block, anything that has to, the only thing that's on pertaining to the driveway is,
Repaving it?
no, existing driveway, clean catch basins and replace if a 2-foot sump is not present. That's what's on the site plan.
Okay, so we clearly have,
To put the curbing.
okay. Do you know anything about the driveway, the curbing and et cetera?
I do not, but Brian
Okay,
designed this plan.
Okay, so we obviously have some miscommunication. And we need to
put it
clarify
in.
this.
Yes, so we
Okay.
talked about it, we probably, well, we
That's fine.
clearly didn't put it into the plan, but we're thinking
That's
of
fine.
doing it.
All I'm asking is,
Yeah.
we clear it up, and so whatever plan we
But,
have.
I mean, do-
We all have the same plan.
Do we have to ask for your permission to do a new driveway?
Well, you're affecting your water going onto your property. The water's going onto your property too, because it's effectively, it's a wetland. It's in the upland review
Okay, so
area.
we will add that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that repaving the driveway is not, but changing grades in the driveway.
Well, I was gonna say, what
And
happens if
modification
that
of
catch
curbing.
basin needs to go in a different location of the driveway, you change the pitch of the
So, I
driveway,
mean.
the water's shooting out into the
Well, yes,
wetland.
the idea is just to, we're not even gonna tear it all up. We're just gonna refinish it
Mhm.
and add the Belgian block so the water doesn't go to the ground. But we need to add this to the
Right.
plan.
Is WLF actual wetlands, or is that upland wetland review area as depicted on the map?
It should be, I would assume it's actual wetlands.
Yeah,
Those are
so
all-
your driveway appears to be in the upland review area. So I think the driveway is susceptible to approval by this board.
Because if you change the grade up, down, side to side, something like that,
Thank you, sir.
that could affect it.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I have
So-
to, two comments.
Sure, please.
In the site development plan, on the left, item 16 says driveway and catch basins, drain inlets, frames and grates shall be type CL 32 by 32 as manufactured by Eastern Precoast Company or engineer approved equivalent. Catch basins shall have 2-foot minimum sumps and bell-type traps over outlet pipes. Then on number 18, it says driveway pavement shall be one course of 2-inch class 2 machine-laid bituminous concrete, a top of 6-inch of processed aggregate base. Sorry about my English, it's not my first language. And shall be in accordance with the Town of Darien standards or Connecticut Department of Transportation specifications. Bituminous concrete curbing shall be machine-laid, class 3 material on engineer-approved equivalent. So there's a whole...
Well, you're describing the asphalt right there. That's the...
Well, but that means that we are proposing a new driveway, right?
So it needs to be in this plan before us.
You just described the material that's gonna go down on the driveway. So I just want you to understand that we're discussing, which usually we don't do, is you're discussing that you're gonna have Belgian block or some type of berming to retard water from the street to go further into the catch basin, which then would travel and discharge at the wetland. So it sounds like you just need to get a plan.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll add that to the plan.
I think that's good, but I think, yeah, it's just a coordination here, just so that whatever we have, we're all looking at the same thing, because I'm afraid that you're looking at something, you're looking at something, he's so that needs to be fixed, okay? So you'll take care of that. So that was the third thing that needed to be looked at, correct?
Yeah.
What I did.
Chicanis,
the health director, and the pipes going across here and your job is to get all of this to look the same. So we're all looking at the same document. Right, is there anything?
We'll produce a list based on
Okay,
the
fine.
conversation.
Yeah, I'm not sure, yeah. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else have anything on this?
No?
All
I
right.
think you guys are almost there.
one last
Sure,
question,
please.
sorry, and then I'll let you go.
No, you're okay.
So for now, can we start doing some planting? Can we do the patio in the back that it's not gonna change location?
If it's in the regulated areas, the answer would be no, until you get approval.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
So also make sure that there is a proposed patio there. There was a patio, we just took out the stones and we were going to put new stones because they were really old. So it's a stone dust patio, but it's also, it's not on wetlands, but
So, Rick,
can we do that or we cannot do that?
Rick did ask about the patio.
I would say that if you're proposing to modify the patio, your proposed patio is within 50 feet of wetlands, I would wait until you have all this stuff done.
Yeah. We haven't.
We're all working on one plan.
Because if you do, we can't partially approve. We either approve it or we don't, or we approve with conditions. So I would wait for that.
Yes, we'll wait for everything.
Okay.
So when we submit all this, do we have to come back to the hearing or you just review it, that all the points that we discussed?
See it. We'll see you here.
Okay,
That's what I'm on.
Okay.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, EPC 15-2025, PL 25-87, 6 Crossroad, L. Nicholson and A. Nicholson, to construct an in-ground pool, pergola, outdoor kitchen, terraces, drainage, grading, and other related improvements in a special flood hazard area approximate to a watercourse and open space area. The access to the property lies along the north side of Crossroad, approximately 620 feet east of Tokenique Trail, and is identified as map number 65, lot number 8-5. The zone is R1, and it is approximately 1.6 acres.
Mr. Chairman, before you have a draft resolution based on the testimony that this commission secured at their meetings on June 4th, July 9th, and August 6th, 2025. The application was to construct an in-ground pool, spa, pergola, outdoor kitchen, terraces, walls, drainage, grading, and other related improvements within a special flood hazard area and proximate to a watercourse, open space, conservation easement areas, and other areas of resource. The conditions of an approval, at the completion of the testimony, the commission directed me to draft this resolution, and I tried to incorporate all the issues and comments that were pertinent to the review. There are, one of the conditions highlights some changes that will be needed in advance of a building permit. Those were revisions to the plan, and those are outlined in condition 3. And much of it relates to the location of the fence, the location of the mitigation planting. The commission asked for increases in the size of some of the mitigation planting, some further details with at the time, the proposed meadow areas, identifying in the field, perhaps by adding conservation signage to the fence about the nearby conservation easement, open space areas. And as you move towards building permit, they gave us representative design details to demonstrate flood compliance in terms of flood protection. That as we move towards building permit, just some additional details and elements are needed to make it building permit worthy. Also narrowing of the flood contingency plan. But those are all highlighted here, and it's subject to discussion, and we'll go from there.
Does any commission member have questions or comments?
Yes. So I strongly believe we got to recognize that as a conservation easement area and treat it as such. And I don't like the meadow effect that can quickly turn into a lawn again versus letting it go natural and let it grow up where it can. The guy was worried about Phragmites blocking his view. He can cut those down all day long. There's no problem with that. But we need to control those easements. You know, they're ours. And basically he's controlling, well, I just want to be able to mow it so I keep my view and all that. And you know, it's firmly, legally an easement, and let's control that. And I believe the best way is letting it go natural. But that's me.
Michael, you?
I don't argue with Bill's logic. I don't have anything else to add.
Peter?
No comments.
About that or anything else?
Well, on this.
On that issue? I mean, my only concern would be if letting it go natural, you know, would more invasive things like the Phragmites grow. I mean, to your point, you can cut them down, and especially if they're submerged, if they do it often enough, they should die back. But, you know, I don't know what other...
They'll never be able to stop Phragmites from growing in there, even if they're doing the meadow effect. It's a tidal area, even though it's intuitively a water course. But the Phragmites they'll have their meadow area up to it, and then they'll cut it down, so they'll still get their view zone. But people are taking advantage of us on these easements. You know, they're saying, hey, that's just an extension of my land, and you know, I don't have to pay taxes on it. That's cool. But no, we should control it. It's natural. That's what it's supposed to be. That's what it was designed to be.
Don't forget, the easement is on the abutting property. I think it runs right to the property boundary.
And it's underwater, right?
No, there's some lands elements associated with it. But the condition that was spoken to and the owner consented to was there's a fence that extends beyond the property boundary. So I think what the condition has to do is pulling the fence back to at least the property boundary, and the plantings that were proposed, or some version of that, to the inside of the fence on the landward side. So that's displacing lawn.
Mm-hmm.
Displacing lawn. So I understand the idea of getting that developed space out of the conservation easement. Take the fence back onto the property, and that's what was agreed to by ownership at the last meeting.
But it didn't come easy. I mean, he was pushing
Well,
that.
okay, but.
And so we got it.
Hey, listen.
Which worries me that it'll become
Do
a
you have a
law.
wife? Do you negotiate with your wife? Do things come easy? No.
But it'll become,
No.
it could become a law again, very soon.
But things don't come easy, but the owner agreed to it.
Yeah, well, that's
Fair?
Yes, I mean, am I allowed to say anything?
No.
No, you can't. You can't.
Can I nod vigorously?
This is our turn.
Can I mime? Planting, yes.
All right.
There's the planting.
So you got what you wanted.
Rob, are you talking about
I'm
your
done.
wife or
I'm
your
done.
But you got what you wanted.
What's that?
You got what you wanted. Okay,
Absolutely.
which he moved the
Yeah.
fence back,
Yeah.
he's.
And it's
taking-
conservation easement, and let's let it be.
Yeah.
So in other words, you don't want them touching anything that's on the conservation
Correct.
easement? I see, okay.
They can have a pathway down, which it looks like they want to get to the water. If they want to have that as a mow area, a 5-foot mow area, fine.
But it's gonna have a fence. It's gonna be fenced.
They have to climb over the fence.
No, no,
They have a
they-
door, I think.
They can open that gate up to get to that zone to go across. It should. Come on, let's not be totally. Don't.
I don't know, Bill. I don't know. All right.
I have one
Please.
tiny little thing. So, no, I'm not changing anything. I just had a question about, there was an issue with one of the neighbors, and you had referred the letter to Mr. Frangione, asking him to address, and I think the last we saw was that the client was in direct contact with the adjacent property owner, and they were working out to address the concerns. And I just want to make sure, because the neighbor issue, I just want to make sure that that's all set. Excellent.
And it related to the driveway, a portion that wasn't regulated areas.
Right, I know.
So they were working
I know.
it out independently.
Okay, got
Craig
it.
and I had a nice phone call yesterday. so.
Okay, excellent, excellent.
All right.
Happy to
So,
hear it.
commission members have a draft of the resolution. I think we've all made our point. Okay.
Yep.
Can I have a motion, please?
Yes, I make a motion to approve EPC 15-2025, 6 Cross Road, to construct an in-ground pool, pergola, outdoor kitchen terraces, drainage, grading, and other related improvements in a special flood hazard area and proximate to a water course and open space area.
Second motion to approve the resolution to conduct permitted activities 15-2025 6 Cross Road.
All in favor?
With the changes that we just talked about?
Yeah, but they're incorporated in the plan.
Okay, well, you have to say that when you're going to.
Oh, with,
Make,
I think they were incorporated, correct? In
no,
your-
they're not in there now. We have to have them put in.
Okay, then, with,
Spell out
I
the
thought
If you want me to vote yes.
No.
He's got to say he's putting them in.
yes, with his changes.
Do you want me to re-say it?
Or
I mean, I thought it was under number 3 in it, but we can,
could we repeat the changes? Sorry?
Here, do you
Yes,
do you
repeat
do you have it written here?
the-
Bill, do you have it written? It was in the email.
It may need a little modification we talked about, but.
it was the wording on the sign, that was one thing, but he did have moving the fence and
Moving the fence is right. Larger trees are right.
larger trees.
It's the no meadow, it's going to natural. And we are using the word conservation easement, no longer open space.
You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the email.
Okay.
But I mean, we're still having land between the fence and the house. There's still that buffer planting. That's what I think the meadow is.
Right, so if they do anything, no, the meadow is all the way down. If they're doing anything on the other side of the fence, in other words, western side,
Right,
they can add all they want, which they have in the plan, that's great.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
They're leaving the.
I'm only worried about the conservation.
Yeah, I think once the fence, if I'm not mistaken, once the fence got moved forward, there was nothing to be done
Moving
there.
all.
No, there's still room to have a meadow there, and that's what they
Well,
had
there's
planned.
room to, but they weren't planning
It's
to.
in the plan.
They're gonna
It's
move.
in the plan as shown, as a meadow.
They're gonna move the fence from the conservation easement off the property
Right.
onto the property.
Right.
And the planting that was proposed on the westerly side of that fence. So the areas beyond will go back natural.
Right.
But it's on the plan, the easterly side of that new fence line is a meadow. On the plan.
Well, it was on the plan that way, but the condition is.
Right.
You move the fence and move the.
I know, but we have to write it in there, because it's not in there now.
It's not in there?
No, it's, the
No,
plan
let's-
shows
yeah,
it
let's
as a
look at his
meadow.
draft.
It's number 2.
Even if it's redundant,
It's redundant, all right.
it's clear.
Revision of the landscape and civil drawings to require the relocation of both the existing waterside fence east and the proposed landscape enhancements to the subject property.
Right, so now look on the plan, and you'll see it's still in there as the fence.
Yeah, but the plan has to be modified as a condition of the permit.
Okay, but we've got to make sure the word meadow is not in there.
But meadow is west of the fence.
Anything
There's a-
west of the fence, meadow it up, right? But anything
Right.
east of the fence.
Right.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
I understand. The planting,
If we all understand that, I'll vote
it's
yes.
natural, and naturalized to the west of the fence.
Correct.
East of the fence. To the
East,
west of the
not
fence.
Have at it.
Planting mitigation is going to the east side of the fence.
West
side of the
side.
fence.
West.
West side of the fence.
Okay,
To the east, beyond the
Natural.
property boundary,
natural.
in the conservation easement, naturalized.
And it's not that big an area. It's like 20 feet, you know? It's not, we're taking
Right.
a huge amount of space.
And then the other thing is, the references to open space should be conservation, naturally the signs.
Right.
The
Along
town
with
is
the
just for
signs.
your say conservation.
Yeah, and I think going forward, we should always do that. You know, if we see something open space, let's say, is it really conservation? And then people should identify it that way.
Do you want me to re-say it? Say it again?
No, because we just had discussion on the
Yeah, don't-
resolution.
Okay.
let's not waste any more time. I
Okay.
think we know what we want.
Okay, so,
Okay.
No.
I think I seconded the motion,
Right.
6 Cross Road, subject to the amendments indicated.
all in favor? Okay, done.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Have a good night.
Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you for not talking.
Abstain.
EPC 16-2025, PL 2592, 32 Plymouth Road, MFOC, KFOC to construct an in-ground pool spa terrace, walls attached studio, expand driveway drainage, utilities, underground propane tank, and other related features in a special flood hazard area and proximate to wetlands and watercourses and drainage ways. Property lies along the west side of Plymouth Road, approximately 450 feet north of Shipway Road. It is identified as map number 57, lot number 36. The zone is R1 and is approximately 1.01 acres.
Mr. Chairman, the substantial testimony has been provided at the June 4th and August 6th meetings for this application to construct an in-ground pool spa terrace, detached garage, and other related features out on the property. Upon the completion of the testimony, the commission directed me to formulate or draft a resolution. What I have in this resolution that is dated September 4th, 2026, are recommended conditions of approval. And you will note under condition 3, revisions that are warranted in advance of a building permit or issuance of a zoning permit that were responsive to questions and concerns, de minimis questions and concerns that were outlined by the commission during that final hearing. And those related to redesigning some of the sumps in the catch basin. I mean, the catch basins to have 2-foot sumps in all the collection structures, some additional floodproofing details that must be designed as we approach the building permit stage. Some further details in the engineer and architectural plans related to the dwelling, because if you recall, with the addition of the terrace blocks some of the existing flood vents, and so they have to relocate them and resize them to be appropriate. And also of interest was to, as it related to the invasives, is to do the informational pamphlet that could be used for future maintenance of the space. And there was requirements that were expressed, or it was expressed at the time of the year, about flush cutting the stumps, or grinding as opposed to removing of the tree stumps for the few trees that were impacted by the development.
Okay, the commission members have received the resolution. Is there any questions or comments? No? 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 Yes? Okay. May I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve EPC 16-2025, 32 Plymouth Road, to construct an in-ground pool, spa, terrace, walls, detached studio, expanded driveway, drainage, utilities, underground propane tank, and other related features in a special flood hazard area and proximate to wetlands and watercourses.
Second motion on EPC 16-2025.
All in favor? Okay.
One abstain.
Okay, Thank you.
Thank you.
EPC 17-2025, PL 25-93, 53 Birch Road, J. Zager and V. Zager, to construct an expanded driveway, walls extension, walls, drainage, and other related features proximate to wetlands and watercourses. Property is located along the west side of Birch Road, approximately 250 feet south of Sylvan Road, and is identified as map 11, lot 13. The zone is R1, and it is approximately 1.44 acres.
Chairman, we have received a letter granting the commission an extensive 65-day extension in order to develop the information that was outlined by both the commission, our engineering consultant, and also to be responsive to questions and concerns by the abutting property owners. No votes necessary.
Oh, okay. EPC 18-2025, PL 25-94, 95 Half Mile Road, W. Rosner and K. McCarthy, to construct residential additions, terrace, walls, drainage, and other related features proximate to the wetlands and watercourses. The property lies along the south side of Half Mile Road, just east of Hollow Tree Ridge Road, and is identified as map number 2, lot number 23. The zone is R2, and it is approximately 3.05 acres.
Mr. Chairman, the commission had solicited substantial testimony at the June 4th and August 6th meetings concerning this proposal to construct a residential addition, terrace, walls, drainage, and other related features on the property proximate to a pond and wetlands. Upon the completion of the testimony, the commission directed staff to formulate or draft a resolution for the consideration at this month's meeting. In that resolution, we outlined conditions of approval. I would also refer to condition 3 that outlines several de minimis changes that the commission wanted as a result of those discussions, having to do with ensuring that there was true natives plantings along immediately along the pond. Again, application of 2-foot sumps in all the collection structures with outlet controls. And there was some de minimis changes to the drainage report, a misreporting version of some of the figures in there.
Any questions or comments from the commission members? Okay.
Make a motion to approve EPC 18-2025, 95 Half Mile Road, to construct residential additions, terrace, walls, drainage, and other related features proximate to wetlands and watercourses.
Second motion on 18-2025.
All in favor? Thank you. EPC 20-2025, PL 25-113, 17 Searles Road, E. Hammond, J. Hammond, to modify a driveway and construct residential additions, walls, and other related features in a special flood hazard area in proximate to wetlands and watercourses and other areas of resource. Property is located along the east side of Sales Road, just south of Indian Trail, and is identified as map number 66, lot number 71. The zone is R1, and it is approximately 0.557 acres.
Like the preceding application, substantial testimony on this application to modify a drive and construct several residential additions in a special flood hazard area proximate to wetlands and watercourses was heard in July and August of the year, July 9th and August 6th. Upon the completion of the testimony, the commission directed staff to draft a resolution for their consideration at the next meeting.
Any questions or comments from the commissioners?
I will just add, I appreciated the septic maintenance that they sent in.
Mhm.
It was good to have. Thank you.
Anyone? Okay.
Make a motion to approve EPC 20-2025, 17 Searles Road, to modify a driveway and construct residential additions, walls, and other related features in a special flood hazard area and proximate to wetlands, watercourses, and other areas of resource.
Second motion on 20-2025.
All in favor?
Abstain.
Okay, approval of minutes. Everybody should have received August 6th minutes. And since we don't have Jim to correct English. Sorry, Jim. Any questions or comments on the approval of minutes for August 6th? No?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of August 6th, the regular meeting of August 6th, 2025.
I second the motion to approve minutes August 6, 2025.
All in favor? Okay, moving on, regular, under other business, we have the EPC regular meeting schedule for 2026. I wasn't able to print that out, so.
I sent it to the,
Oh, yeah. Okay, thanks.
but it's followed the same format that we've done for the last 4 years,
Yeah,
in which we established the meeting dates following the requirement outlined in, our enabling ordinance, the first Wednesday of every month. I tried to temper it to be responsive or recognize holidays. I think the only one that kind of dropped on a holiday was in April of next year. I believe it's Passover, April 1st. And then we've established deadline dates for submittal of new applications and additional information.
right.
The additional information 15 days before, the new application can be, it's essentially a week before to allow us to do to formulate an
Some
agenda.
analysis, yeah.
But it's the same format here that you're required to have your both electronic file and in your hard copy submitted by the specific deadlines. But if you had the opportunity to look through it, I think we hit all the highlights of trying to miss days that may be important to individuals, like don't submit on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. The meeting in July, which is often an issue, is July 1st. I kept it at July 1st because usually that's a holiday type of a week. And then the August meeting is still early in August. That's it.
Good. Anybody?
And Rick, what does that asterisk mean for the 2025? Is that just because it's the current year that's up at the top there
Yes.
bolded?
And then why would you have an asterisk there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because it's not the first Wednesday of the month.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Well, so
It's
you mean
at the
on the
bottom.
first line, the meeting date is January 7th?
Yeah.
Okay, so 15 days before the asterisk it would typically be December 31st.
Gotcha.
So I moved it back a day.
All right.
There might be an attorney that would try and do that.
Yes, there'll be some attorney that does that.
And I'm sure we'll listen to it.
December 31st.
Again, you can
Like
submit
calendars.
that
All right.
one.
Okay, anybody else, any questions, comments?
Do we have to vote on
We
this?
should vote on it.
Yes.
Okay. So I make a motion to approve the EPC regular meeting schedule for 2026 as discussed.
Second motion for EPC scheduling 2026.
All in favor? Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn the regular meeting of EPC of September 4th, 2020.
Third.
Third.
Is it the third? Okay.
Third.
Seconding the motion to adjourn meeting Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025.
All in favor? Thank you. Good night.
Okay.